So, hello, everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I'm sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq. And this is the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even. If y'all could do us a favor right off the top and share and like and become a member and all those things. Also, we have a PayPal, Venmo, Cash App. If you would be so kind to donate to the channel, because everything that you do does help us you maintain what we're doing here. And so we love and appreciate our members and everybody else who often donates. And so today we're going to be covering two topics. The first one, we're going to be talking about this whole little and I'll get more into it, but we're going to talk about American Cholo. He is a DJ on Power 106 in Los Angeles, which is, I guess, a kind of like a hip hop, R&B, contemporary type of urban music station, if you will. He said some things and he didn't say some things, and I'll get into that as well. But we want to tackle it from the Black and Brown coalition aspect. Then, of course, on Sunday, we had a little bit of a heated discussion about a video that's trending around called Flued Out, that features a girl, I should say a woman, and a man arguing over the dynamics of their relationship. And he recorded the whole thing. So that's going to be on the second half. So don't go anywhere. But before we get started, Donovan, what say you?
Hey, you guys, welcome to the podcast. If you guys are sitting in traffic, thank you guys for tuning to the Demetra K podcast, one of the fastest growing podcasts out there in the United States. Do us a favor, please like, share, and subscribe, and even become a member. That way, if you're on the video cast, you can get these great videos, not only of Demetra K's show, but of the African Diaspora News Channel, as well as other updates that Demetra puts up throughout the week. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting topic. Do us a favor. Let's see what you guys got in the chat, and give us your opinion.
And I also want to say we are not live. This is recorded, because sometimes people think we're live. So we are not live. You are watching this recorded. And so anyway, let's go ahead and get started for time's sake. So over the last couple of days, there's been a lot of revelations about a DJ called American Cholo. And I guess it kind of maybe started, and don't get me the line, just from what my understanding, Tyga, the rapper, had made a video, and he was accused of appropriation, basically appropriating that of the Hispanic culture. He had, some things that can kind of be considered appropriation and make you raise an eyebrow, per se. He had a sombrero on, and I guess he had tortilla chips falling out the sky and a whole bunch of other stuff. Well, like I said, it's questionable. So he was called to the carpet by that of American Cholo and Power 106, and they had a conversation, and Tyga apologized for doing it. He took the video down and all that, this, that, and the other. Well, after that took place, a lot of videos, if you will, started to surface of that of American, I want to call him American hero for some reason, but American Cholo. And now there was one that was erroneously, and I want to stress that, erroneously put out, saying that he said the N-word, which he did not say the N-word, because I actually watched his podcast the other day, and he showed the real video of him talking about a friend that got out of CYA, if you will, California Youth Authority prison, for lack of better words. And he came out and he was rather racist. And he said he wasn't like that when they were in there. But, he used the N-word, and American Cholo used the N-word describing it. But somebody somehow spliced what he said together and made it seem like he was calling, Black people the N-word, which he completely proved that he did not do that. So whoever did that, you're a horrible human being for putting out a false narrative about somebody. If you want to talk about something somebody said, it should really be something they truly said, right? You don't need to lie to kick it, for lack of a better word. So anyway, some other things came out, and I happen to see this as well. And I'm going to play this video for you all really quick so you can get a gist of it.
Yeah, over equality. Wait your turn to those young Raza or Raza who want to believe that. You better turn your TV, brother. You better turn your radio back.
So we think about these Black Lives Matter that they want to be paid for being slaves and all that?
Reparations.
Yeah, there.
Are you talking about reparations? Well, I heard they passed in North Carolina.
Yes.
But it was a small little town in North Carolina that passed reparations for whoever's over there. I'm sure they'll try to do something out here in California. I think they already actually got a little board going that they're going to start looking into it. So
yeah, and that's when we, the Raza, need to step up, protest. protest, and I'm talking major, and turn around and tell them, no, nobody get reparations until the Native Americans and the Mexicans get ours first.
Listen, brother,
We've been going through this crap a lot longer, so I don't want to hear it. Because it's not fair, dog. How are you going to give a bunch of money to a specific group, dog? This is the United States, a melting pot. How are you going to give it to a specific group?
Because right now they've got the white people with so much guilt. It was your parents.
So, of course, you guys heard there was a lot going on in that. And so he has a podcast as well, and his homies were sitting there with him, and they were talking about that of reparations. And so reparations, let me actually put my slide up here because I kind of wanted to talk about a little bit something else. So I kind of just wanted to have a logical conversation without all of the vitriol, if you will. So if you can see here on Instagram, American Cholo, he says, we speak on issues that pertain to brown men and women. We are a voice for those that can't be heard. We are, and whatever the hashtag there is. And you guys might have heard them say La Raza. That means the people, for lack of a better word, I guess in Spanish. Okay, so he says he's about brown people, right?
Rightly so.
What does mine say? Says, welcome to the Demetra K channel, where I discuss all things relevant to the Black community. My purpose is to spread Black love, knowledge, and understanding, and wisdom to help us become a better people. Also, please subscribe. So the reason why I put those two up there is because some people might have an issue with him saying, oh, he's for brown men and brown women. Well, you know, on this show, we say that we are for Black people. So I just want to put that out there. I don't have a problem with him saying
representing his people.
Representing his people. Okay, but we're gonna get back to this reparations thing now. Okay, we're gonna get back to it.
Absolutely. Right? I took notes on that.
So reparations here says reparations is the are the act or process of making amends for a wrong according to the United Nations. Adequate and effective and prompt reparations is intended to promote justice by redressing gross violations of international human rights laws or serious violations of international humanitarian laws. Okay, so that's basically the gist of reparations, to right a wrong. And so I think we can all agree that, especially here in America, Black people that were brought over here as slaves have been done wrong, right? And so we can also agree that those are our ancestors, and even to this day, Black people have been done wrong. Now, can we also ask another question? Have Black people been repaid for the wrong that was exacted upon our people and are being exacted upon us now?
No.
No, right? Okay. So they have a problem with us getting reparations. They just do. They feel like they should get it first. What about the Mexican, the Indian? Well, we should also throw out that Indians also own slaves. Indians in America also own slaves. They joined an alliance with white people because they felt like they didn't want Indians and Black people to form an alliance. So the white people said, hey, let's own slaves together. So let's just put that out there. Now, I also want to be genuine in saying, too, that Mexico was a safe place, a safe haven for slaves to escape during slavery from the Texas border to Mexico. Mexico did welcome in slaves. So I just want to put that out there. I don't want to leave this information out. All right. So you might ask, who are these two gentlemen here? Well, Felix Tiarina, and I'm sorry, it's kind of blurred there. He was the president of LULAC, which basically is, I wrote it down because I did not want to forget, but it was, let me see. It's the League of United Latin American Citizens. Okay, so that's what it's for. Now, he's the president of LULAC, and they're like the NAACP for Hispanic people. They represent Hispanics in the United States and Puerto Rico, even though Puerto Rico is part of the United States, but they make that difference, right? And
well, real quick, we just, a LULAC organization formed here in Moreno Valley.
Right.
Well, about a month ago.
They're all over. They got, I think they said they have about 180,000 members, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong. And so, again, they're like the NAACP, except for Hispanic people, and they are about the civil rights and advancement and, you know, all that for their people, okay? Now, he said, let the Negro fight his own battles. His problems are not mine. I don't want to ally with him. So he's basically saying, we are about our people and our people only. Okay. Now, this next gentleman, he was actually, I guess, the first president or one of the first. No, actually, he was one of them because LULAC has been around for 90 years. Okay. But this particular one, John Herrera, he was there in 1952, and he says Latin Americans of Mexican descent belong to the Caucasian race and are therefore white. Okay? So if you think, and the reason why I put these things up here is not to, cause division or anything
delusional.
like that. I wanted to illustrate the thinking of a lot of their organizations. And again, I'm not mad at them because that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to ride for their people. But I wanted to illustrate the quotes by two of these people because one said, "Hey, we don't really care about being in alliance with Black people," and this one says that we are white. And so when you say you are white, that means that you're more than likely to take on their ideology, the white ideology. So
white means boss in this country.
and not only that, but we know that white people do not have a liking to Black people, for lack of better words. And so if they've taken on those characteristics, then they more than likely feel the same about Black people. Okay, so I just want you guys to see that. All right, so
always remember, this isn't everybody, but this is what we're saying. So we're not an all-inclusive indicting.
I'm gonna get to it. So here's John Henry Clark, the great scholar. That I call him the great teacher because he actually said, "You have no friends," but here it says, "We have no friends." And he was basically talking about Black people. Now, he brought Pan-African and African studies to the American institutions. And he actually revolutionized African-American studies, if you will, and all that in the collegiate institutions here in America. And so he's also a great historian, writer, and all of that. Of course, he is no longer here, but he says, "You have no friends." He says to always remember that white people, the colonizers, they never have any interest in advancing you or helping you or doing any of those things at all. And I guess the same thing should be true for everybody else, because if you look at things now, you have the Asian community. They're, all Black people are harming us. Now, we have with American Cholo, and I'm not sure saying it's just him, but it's a lot that say, well, why do they get reparations? And why do you need to protest against Black people getting reparations? Per what I said, I think Black people deserve reparations. And you think about the Hispanic community, they have gotten reparations from America more than we've gotten, right? Whether you want to call it DACA or a whole lot of other things that they have benefited from. Hell, they can come over here and get asylum and get worked into the system, and voila.
Take out a Social Security that they didn't put into, all kinds of stuff, medical and stuff like that. Real quick, the Indian tribes.
Let me finish, though. Then I'll give it to you. So John Henry Clark says we have no friends. That means nobody. Basically, what he's saying is that we need to be able to rely on us as Black people. All right. So I said all that to say, and I want to say this before I give it to Donovan. No, it's not all Hispanic people. It's not. Because I have two good friends, and I call them my homegirls. When I was in ninth grade, before ninth grade, I worked at a youth summer program at a park that was in, Arlanza, which, was, a Hispanic neighborhood. Okay. So I got to be really good friends with a girl named Esther. She was a little older than me. Now, just so happens we were going to the same high school that after the summer. Now, the sisters did not like me. Now, mind you, I'm ninth grade, 15 years old. The sisters did not like me.
There's a lot of sisters that don't like you now.
I can't help it. They did not like me. When I tell you almost my whole ninth grade year, they effed with me. They never put their hands on me, but they was calling me names, or your hair is ugly, your clothes. Now, mind you, I had a summer job, so I was able to buy the fresh, gear and stuff.
Absolutely.
So, I tried out for a talent show. They be in the audience booing and, just doing the most, right? As I'm walking to school, they would somehow end up behind me and they would throw rocks, never hit me. So it was the worst. Lunchtime, they would mess with me. So one day, my homegirl, I call her my homegirl, Esther, who was a Chola. What I'm talking about, Chola.
She had the painted on eyebrows?
All of that.
Okay, good.
Her homegirl saw what they were doing to me, and she came. She says, "Come here." She said, "What's going on? Why they always mess with you?" I said, "I don't know. I don't know." And she goes, "Okay." She says, "The next time I see him doing it, we gonna say something to him." So they was in the quad messing with me again, and so she brought all her homegirls over, and she says, "Why do y'all keep messing with her?" And they didn't say nothing because they was low key scared of the Cholas. Mm-hmm. So. And they didn't say nothing. She says, "If I see y'all messing with her again, y'all gonna have us to deal with." And do you know that the sisters, and I say it loosely because your sisters wouldn't do that kind of stuff to you. The sisters never mess with me again. In fact, I'm friends with some of them almost 40 years later. Yeah. So it took my Mexican homegirl to get the sisters up off of me, right? Mm-hmm. Another story, and I'll give it to you.
No, go ahead.
After I had my bachelor's and my master's, y'all, I tell y'all about my marriage.
I was at the graduation. Go ahead.
Yeah. 10 months, I was married. He didn't work out. He screwed me over royally. It was just a nightmare. I came back to California with no money at all. I didn't have a car. I didn't have money. Now, mind you, I had degrees, but I didn't have no money. Do you know my Mexican homegirl, Yasmin, she had a cleaning company, and she says, "Come work for me. Come work for me." Now, mind you, I was scrubbing toilets and all that other stuff. But you know what else she did? She said, "Just give me a couple of bucks off of what you make and keep the rest." So the point that I wanted to tell those stories because I did not want it to come off as like, oh, we are mad at everybody. I've got good friends that are, Mexican or whatever the case is. But I think we need to be logical in our assessment of things and saying they're supposed to be for their people.
Absolutely.
Just like we're supposed to be for our people. So
what? We're supposed to be for our people? Since when? Nigga, I got mine. You need to go get yours. So anyway, exactly, and that's great. Because I hate when people get on these platforms and they go, "Whataboutism?" We're not talking about everybody. We're talking about certain people because not all Mexicans are bad. Not all white people are bad. So on, so on, and so forth. Now, when it comes to white people, most of them are, but not all of them. So anyway, listening to that video when old boy was talking about reparations, in my opinion, they are like we've already said, they're getting reparations. As far as the Indians are concerned, they're getting reparations. Demetra, what would happen right now if you opened up a gambling ring in one of the back rooms of your house? You would be arrested on the spot for illegal gambling. Now, in the United States, especially here in California, across the United States, as a matter of fact, you got these Indian casinos that are making millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. That was a mechanism that was approved to help the Indians in their state and get the pressure off the United States to stop supporting these people as much. And that's why they're allowed to do that. And now Indian people are making more money, just from the gambling and the casino type situations. Black people can't do that. They haven't set up no specific programs for Black people. I don't see a lot of Indians getting shot down in the street. And maybe they are, I don't know. But in comparison to Black people, the FBI report, this is black and white and on statistically a fact. Nobody gets shot and killed by the police and incarcerated by the police more than Black people in this country. The fastest group of Black people that are being incarcerated are Black women. So what are these guys talking about that we shouldn't get reparations? Now, the Mexican, and I have a lot of Mexican friends, I live in a predominantly Mexican city. And I understand some Mexicans, because California was a part of Mexico, are native to California. I get that. I understand the whole thing. But this notion that there's a brown and Black coalition, that is straight bullshit. That's straight bullshit. It doesn't exist. It's something that was made up by the civil rights generation and whatever. But notice when the great Benjamin Chavez started his protest movement, who were the ones that supported him and backed him up to legitimize it?
You mean Cesar Chavez?
Cesar Chavez, I'm sorry. It was Black people. It was the Black movement that supported his movement to legitimize it. So sometimes we have mutual interest in the things that we want to do. But I'm all for groups standing up for each other. But the problem is we stand up for each other. For Black folks, we just use each other. And here's a quick thing for us old hip hop heads that don't know. The great Eric Wright, Eazy-E, signed one of the greatest brown lyricist of all times, which was Kid Frost. And guess where Kid Frost? I don't think he lives here anymore, but he used to live here when he got started. Moreno Valley, the great Kid Frost. And there's a story that he's talking about Easy on YouTube where he talks about how he got signed to Ruthless, and Easy came out here to Moreno Valley to his house, dropped off a Cadillac or some kind of Mercedes or something with $100,000 in the back and told him to keep it. And he signed to Ruthless Records. So those don't know who Kid Frost is, Raza was a big national anthem for the brown folks. So yeah, I mean, I just think it's crazy when other groups say that we do not deserve reparations. Indians never had their identity stolen from them. As a matter of fact, they still have standing treaties with the United States. Hispanics never had their identity stolen from them or were enslaved. We're the only group in this country that came here involuntarily. We were kidnapped. That's a crime within itself. What do you mean we don't deserve reparations? So.
Who else is from River Tucky?
Are you talking about Hispanic wise?
Yeah, rap group.
Wait. I don't know the rap group, but also the finest chick in hip hop ever came out of the IE. Darlene, the OG Ortiz, Ice T's ex-wife. I mean, we got a lot of cultural. It's so sad that all the BS. Messes it up. But what's the other group that came from out here?
Come on, brother.
Brown side?
Lighter shade of brown.
Lighter shade of brown came from, I thought it was brown side.
Lighter shade of brown is from La Sierra, Riverside.
Okay. I did not know that. I thought it was brown side, but that's okay. Got it.
Lighter shade of brown. Yeah, lighter shade of brown. So yeah, I mean, but as far as this coalition is concerned, I don't know if there's some, black groups and Hispanic
factions.
Groups. Mm-hmm. They work together and stuff, but I don't should we be having a coalition? And the reason why I asked why should we have a coalition is because, and I'm gonna just speak for black people, we got so much shit we need to be taken care of. Right. You know what I mean? Right. We're not even unified with each other, let alone talking about unifying with everybody else, right? You know what I mean? So it's like, even if you look at now, I try not to really get into this because I know people get sensitive. For the last week, maybe 2 weeks, FBA has been trending, Financial Black Americans, and ADOS is trending today, American Descendants of Slavery. That's trending, and you got everybody fighting back and forth, and it's like, what the actual F? Like, y'all fighting with each other. And then today, I saw where it said Mexicans was trending. It said hashtag Mexicans are trending. Then I stupidly clicked on the damn thing, and I see white people fighting with Mexicans and black people and Mexicans fighting with each other. And then somehow the Asians get out. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? You know what I mean?
Everybody's fighting for a piece of the pie.
And I get it, but it's like no shade to anybody else. But black people, we got our own fish to fry, just like Mexicans got their own fish to fry. Asians, everybody got their own fish to fry. And wouldn't it be nice if we all minded our own business? And because like if we truly minded our business as people, this race mind their business, that race, we wouldn't have time to be focusing on what everybody else is doing. Now, I put up the video about reparations because I just want to say, to any Hispanics, Latinos, forgive me if I'm using the wrong word, or, Mexicans or whatever. Why y'all mad with us? And y'all want y'all to do me a favor, y'all. Go check out Brother Phil's assessment on the Phil Scott audio experience, where he took mastery of the situation in regards to the statement about reparations and all of that. Is a great podcast. So check that out. Mm-hmm. But I don't understand why y'all mad with us. Like y'all mad because we want reparations. We black people deserve reparations. Do y'all know, if it's anybody who's watching from the Hispanic community, do y'all know that black people are the only people, and we're talking about America, we don't talk about this one, in America that has had the horror exacted upon us and still have not been vindicated for what was done to our ancestors and still to us. And so when I hear that y'all are mad and y'all want to protest about us getting reparations. Do y'all know if you go to the Congressional Black Caucus, which we don't really claim the Congressional Black Caucus,
correct?
But if y'all as Hispanics go to the Congressional Black Caucus, they say that they represent Black and marginalized people. Do you also know that you're considered marginalized? So I say that to say is while you want to be out there protesting against Black people getting reparations, our supposed misleadership, if you will, they're out there getting stuff for y'all on a daily basis, whether it's DACA or anything else y'all need. Y'all are getting it off the backs of the people who is supposed to be representing us. Now, listen, I don't fault Hispanics for getting what they're getting from our people. I fault us. You know why I fault us? Because we keep electing those people, the Congressional Black Caucus, to office, even though we know they do nothing for us. When I say nothing, they do nothing specifically that benefits Black people, but they go out and they get Asians a hate crime bill. They get Hispanics, whatever it is they need, but yet y'all want to go out there and protest because we want reparations, but our people, supposedly alleged people, are helping y'all get stuff. Make that make sense.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because let's say, God forbid, your father happens to die on the job and he has money coming to him from the job, right? For the time that he worked. Wouldn't you want that check? Didn't your dad work for that check? So even, because the argument, Dimitri, is, well, none of y'all were slaves. We shouldn't give you no money because none of y'all were slaves. Well, no, but my ancestors were, and they have a payment that is due them that we need to collect. So just like your father or your mother worked on a job and they happen to die, God forbid, and they have sick leave coming to them that has to be paid out and all the other stuff that has to be paid out from a job, right? Don't you think that their kids deserve that? The family deserves that? That's how Black people are coming at it. Now, I agree with you. Not all Black people should get reparations. Just because you have Black skin does not mean you should get reparations. If you migrated here from the Caribbean from the 1960s or whatever, you not necessarily are going to get reparations because your experience is totally different. You left your country. You need to go to Britain or France or whoever colonized your country to get your reparations. And that bullshit about, there's no way we could find out. Black people were property. Everything you need to know about who was a slave and who wasn't is in the National Archives up at the government. Everybody knows there's receipts, it's property, insurance, people have it, slaves were insured, all that other stuff. So that's BS bullcrap. If the government really wanted to give reparations, they could. That's why they let the Indians open the casinos. The casinos is a fairly new thing. The first Indian casino was opened up in the 90s, right? Yeah, that was fairly new. Because the government did not want to, financially, they could not support the treaty that they signed. And they said, okay, we're going to give you guys casinos and let you guys do this and let you guys do that. And right now, these individual Indian tribes individually are worth millions of dollars. So much so, some of them own sports teams here in the United States.
Absolutely. And so, again, I just think that we really should think logically about a lot of things. And y'all know we're big on logic and not emotions. Like, I try not to get wrapped up into the emotions of people. And like I said, just listening to them, and I'm sure there was more to what he said on that podcast with his homeboys or whatever. But just listening to that part of it about reparations is like, y'all don't need to be mad at us. Y'all don't even need to be mad that we want it, right? Y'all should be happy that, Black people are vindicated or will be vindicated or want to be vindicated, because that's a horrible thing that goes on, that has gone on with our people. And so don't be mad because we want our reparations. Hell, y'all get stuff all the time. And, are people mad about it? Yeah. I mean, like, for example, I understand that the Mexican community is mad that Americans are going over to Mexico City and colonizing Mexico City, if you will, bumping up the cost of living and things like that. From what I understand, it says the average salary, I think a month, don't get me,
$450.
is about $435, but an apartment or a house to rent over there is going up towards of $2,000. And they're saying that is due to Americans going over there. But it's like at the same time, I get it. I would be mad too, but are y'all mad when y'all come over here and
Right,
y'all
exactly.
get all the benefits? I mean, so I get it. I get it from both sides, but I think we need to be logical about certain things. And at the end of the day, I think Black people should be about the business of Black people. Hispanics or Mexicans or whatever should be about the business of whatever it is you guys are trying to do. And and then maybe one day I don't see it because we got and this is the other thing I think we need to realize too. As John Henry Clark said, we have no friends. We don't have any friends. And he was talking about the colonizers, the original colonizers, the white people. But why do y'all think that Mexicans and Black people and Asians and all of them get together, get along? It's because of white people. They have taught us that slave mindedness. And yes, Mexicans, y'all got the slave mindedness too, because y'all came over here thinking that y'all was white, but yet they treat y'all just as bad as they treat us. But as my dad said a long time ago, and I'm going to use this word one time. My dad said this a long time ago. I couldn't have been no more than 10. He says, right now, the Mexican is the new nigga. And they know it and they don't want to be. And so that's why I think there's a lot of schism between Mexicans and Black people, because everybody that comes over here, they want to be on top of Black people. And it's like, Black, why?
Because at the end of the day, you're not Black.
Well, because you learning that from white people to dog Black people out and to see Black people beneath you, right? I mean, let's keep it real. Yeah, that's how a lot of Hispanic people see Black people. It's just the truth. And I've heard this from some of my, Hispanic friends. Not that they were saying that about me, but I've heard them say, yeah, I can't really bring, a Black man home. My family don't like that.
Yeah.
When I was working at Frito-Lay, where it was, 95% Mexicans working there, I got a lot of Mexican friends there. But I remember one time there was a brother was dating a Mexican girl, and her cousin was working there, and somebody overheard them calling him a mayate, which from what I understand means nigger in Spanish. And they were basically saying that, oh, we don't want her dating that mayate and this, that, and the other. And so it's like, they were keeping it real, but it's like, don't lie to kick it. Y'all really ain't find the Black people like that.
Yeah, and you got to remember, hatred and stuff like that is learned. So somebody's teaching this to the kids. And there's a video right now where a young Mexican guy was giving up the game, saying that when he was growing up, Mexicans and Latin people are taught, you don't want to deal with Black. You don't want to, don't bring no Black around. You don't want to associate with Blacks. And that is something that is taught to them. But what are we taught? Love everybody. And I'm going to piggyback off of what you said about not having any friends. You know what? There's a saying in the military: if you're not willing to fight for your own freedom, you don't deserve to be free. But when you fight for your own freedom, people respect you because you fought. Why do you think America is so, or let's even say Haiti is so respected in the Black world? Because they were the first country that fought a colonial empire and won. And so they have that respect. Yeah. Are they a filthy, poor country because of the colonials made them pay all that money back and stuff like that? Yes. But they got respect because they fought off their colonizers. And until Black people fight our fight, just like Malcolm X said, if you want to help us, fine, help us, but you can't join us.
Absolutely. And he says, if you ain't willing to die for freedom, take the word out your vocabulary.
Out your vocabulary, exactly.
So anyway, we're going to move on to the next topic, but I just kind of want to make some sense of that. I'm not into fighting with people regardless of who they are. I just think we all should be about our own business, and that's uplifting our people. That plain and simple. It doesn't have to come to hate and why, you getting this and why you getting that. I think if to be fair, yeah, we talk about it a lot, like, Hispanics or Mexicans coming over and they getting all the stuff, but you got Americans, and we talk about Black people fighting for stuff and y'all continuously getting it, but that's by the hands of the Democrats, and notice my good Mexican brother and sister, those Democrats don't love y'all either.
Exactly.
Using y'all, they'll give y'all a little bit something here and there, but they using y'all again. Y'all gonna end up right where we are with nothing. After they use you and get whatever they need from you, you're gonna end up exactly where we are. So it would behoove y'all to study history and know that the Democrats and we know the Republicans, even though most of y'all kind of on the conservative side, but they don't mean y'all any good. Study history and then you'll understand.
Yeah, and you know what's funny though? as you're an American, we go over there to colonize Mexico City, and and it's a beautiful country and stuff like that. When you go to those places, we can't get benefits. We can't do those things. We're there at our own dime, right? They come over here, the coffers are open. But here's the funny thing, Demetra, and if you really think about it, when these other groups come over here, do they move to Beverly Hills? Do they move to Orange County? The high areas of Orange County and those areas? No. Where do they move? They move into the Black community. Hey, brother. Hey, what's going on, my brother? How you doing, my brother? Hey, man, La Raza, let's go, because we have a lot of things in common when it comes to likes and music and stuff like that. I mean, a Mexican friend of mine, man, this guy has a better R&B collection than I do. You know what I mean? So, but isn't that funny how when they get here, they're our friends. But then when they start getting some affluency because of the Democratic giveaways and stuff like that, and they become Republicans, half of Hispanics are Republicans, they're conservative, then they don't know us anymore. And then they're white. So something to think about.
And then one last story before we get on to Donovan's topic. I really realized, and y'all know I come from a very woke background of, who my father is and who my mom was or whatever that is.
What happened to your sister? No, go ahead.
Right. But I really saw that there was no Black and Brown coalition with this very simple story here. When I was like 22, 23, I was at the laundromat and I was washing my clothes. And, usually if you go at a certain time, the laundromat is pretty busy. So I was waiting for a dryer and I felt like I should be next, right? Because I was. Mm-hmm. So I saw this Mexican lady, she's bringing her laundry out of the dryer. And I'm like, all right, let me take my clothes over there. And she held it and motioned her homie over and gave them the dryer. And I'm like, Now, of course, I was, dignified. I wasn't going to get the scrapping over no dryer. But that really woke me up. I'm like, okay, that's how they look out for each other. Like, F you, sister.
Right, but that makes sense.
Right. But, I was young then, so it didn't make me mad. But it really showed me in live and in living color what it means to, hey, forget that your clothes need to be dried. I'm looking out for my people. Mm-hmm. So I'm not mad at it now, but back then, I did want to get them up, but I was like, I ain't going to do that.
Right. I mean, it's kind of like in the modern day here. Hispanics will back a Black politician if they have interest at stake.
Well,
a good example, Maxine Waters. She has gentrified herself and her voting constituents out of her district. It's just a matter of time. Either Maxine Waters is going to retire because she has no way of winning, as the area, South Central Los Angeles, Compton is almost all Hispanic now.
And then the last time that Maxine Waters was up for re-election, I can't remember the guy's name.
Yeah, he was talking dirty about her.
Oscar somebody. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was calling all kind of witches and all that kind of stuff. And, I went on his Facebook and I was like, hey, you know what? I don't cut for Maxine Waters at all. But when I'm not going to be sitting up and agreeing with you on this calling our sister, she's our sister, whether we like Maxine or not. But what we're not going to do is allow you to sit up there and call that lady names. You want to, compete against her, which he got his ass whooped. Right. But if you want to run a race against her politically or whatever, do that. But you ain't got to be disrespecting that lady.
Right. Exactly. And that's another thing when we see our Black leaders being disrespected by other groups and nobody checks them. That's another thing why people don't respect us as a people, because we don't stand up for the right things at the right time.
Absolutely, brother. So with this, we are going to talk about your
WAP.
Is that what this is, brother?
Yes, flute out. I was flute out.
I was trying to see if I could play it. All right, so this particular video, Donovan and I actually were discussing on Sunday toward the end of the show. And I will warn you, there's some salty language in there, so please forgive me. I haven't learned how to bleep out stuff. And if I even tried to, it was so much going on in this damn video that I probably wouldn't know how to do it. But
she's cute, too. Girl's cute.
Apparently, this particular woman got flued out. That's the ghetto word for somebody bought her a plane ticket
on Spirit Airlines. Spirit Airline.
Sounds like she came from wherever to Los Angeles, California, if you will. And I'll let you guys watch the video, and then we'll have a discussion from that point.
Hey, y'all about to take her ass off.
Yeah, drop me off, nigga.
Y'all ever see her out? Don't fly. Hey, y'all about to take her ass off.
Yeah, drop me off, nigga.
Y'all ever see her out? Don't fly her out.
Drop me off, nigga. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You dumb. Don't trip. You dumb. You get dropped off.
I don't care, nigga.
Watch out.
The fuck?
That shit kind of, I'm just saying that shit.
No, you're lame.
No, shit,
You're really lame.
No, I'm saying what you did was lame.
What was lame?
What you did.
Because I don't want to give up my coochie to
You on
you.
the phone, FaceTime.
Nigga, you're weird. Weird.
I flew you out. I paid
Give a fuck, nigga. I could have paid for my own shit, and I still would not have gave you no coochie. So what are you talking about? Nigga, you lame.
I fly her out, pay for her food, she gonna take a shower, walk around the locker room with a towel on. But I can't get the cheeks though. I can't get the cheeks though.
You thirsty, nigga. You a thirsty nigga.
Right here, Spirit Airlines.
Get me the fuck out of here.
Spirit Airlines.
Oh, you know what? Hold on. I thought I had.
Drop me off, nigga.
Hold up.
What everything I pay for it?
Nigga, whatever. Just get me out this fucking car. Because you're lame as fuck. Sure, you fucking crash and burn us. Get the fuck out of here. You lame ass nigga because you ain't getting no fucking coochie.
Get out.
Nigga, whatever. Just
Get out
give
my
me.
car.
Just make sure you give me my fucking confirmation number.
What? Ain't no confirmation number.
What you need?
Ain't no confirmation number. Catch your flight. I catch your flight. Buy your own ticket. You make sure I come out the cheeks. Nah. It's so bad. I ain't making your bag here. Your bag right here.
Nothing.
Go. I'm real serious. You ain't want to give me no cheeks?
You're lame as fuck. Because you can't get no pussy.
I'm saying. Go. You gotta go. Pay for your ticket. Not paying for that shit.
I don't care about none of that shit. You're lame as fuck.
Hey.
You can't get no pussy.
All right. Buy your own ticket. Buy your own ticket. Buy your own ticket. She got to buy her own ticket now. Fly yourself out. I didn't pull her ass out and she won't give me no cheeks. You feel me?
Donovan?
Well, you guys saw the video. I'm probably sure you guys have saw it on other platforms as well. Now, there's a big controversy going on, as the great Kevin Samuels used to say, that you've got the strong, independent, I don't need no nigga man, right? As you heard her kept saying, call him a dude, nigga this. Now, Demetri, I want you to pay attention to what she said specifically. She said, her quote, she could have paid for her own ticket, quote, Poochie. I'm going to call her Poochie. And she also made a good point was, and I got to look at this. This man flew this woman into LA, Los Angeles, California. Ratio 7-to-1. Women versus men. There's 7 women for every dude in California. And he flute a chick in. So, you know, that is kind of lame. Now, here's the problem with the video. And it's funny to me or whatever, but what is concerning to me about the video is you have a lot of these entertainers, Meg Thee Stallion, the City Girls, Cardi B, that keep talking about this lifestyle, right? And how glamorous it is, girl, you know, fly you out using a man's resources and just, you know, dog the guy out. And she's absolutely right. She's not obligated to give him any wop. She's not. But at the same time, independent, equal women, feminists, he's not obligated to pay for her ticket to go back, even though he should. You know, whatever, he should, but he's not obligated to do it. I am more concerned at the fact that a lot of these young ladies, and Demetri, you've done story after story of young girls who are living a city girl lifestyle. And what the city girls do not tell you is the flip side of that lifestyle and what could happen to you. This girl could have been killed. She could have been drugged and raped. I mean, all kinds of horrific stuff could have happened. So even though the video is funny and it's a cautionary tale, ladies, do not go any place even if the man flutes you out without having enough resources to fly yourself back, if need be.
So that was probably like my third time watching the video, and I ain't gonna lie, every time I listen to it and watch it, it disgusts me. Like, I can't even describe how disgusted I am. Now, to me, y'all know I'm in the gray. I'm the one of the people that's in the gray. I like to look at all aspects of it. I'm not, on one side more than the other. I want to start off with him. He is the very disgusting. And anybody that does not believe that, I'm not even going to call him a gentleman. I'm not even going to call him a man. That's a boy, because that's how boys talk to people. Every time he said the word cheeks, I literally wanted to throw up, because you talking to a woman like that and expect for her to give you what's hers?
You're damn right. And I spent money.
I'm being very serious here. And you talking about her cheeks? So you're not talking about her. You was only interested in what's underneath her skirt. So my other thing is, y'all talking for 2 months on FaceTime. What was you talking about for 2 months? Was you talking about, are you my man? Are you my woman? We go together. Was y'all talking about any of that stuff? Or what was you talking about? And I'm one of those people, I like to dig deep mentally when I hear and see things. So something tells me, if that boy, and I don't care what y'all say, that's a boy, and I'm going to get to her in a minute. Something tells me that boy did not get clarification as to whether he was going to get the cheeks or not, because you flew her out on Spirit. Y'all just shut the hell up about Spirit. That's my airline, goddammit. Y'all flew her out on Spirit, and you didn't ask her before she got on the plane whether we going to get horizontal, or however you want to ask that to make that. You didn't find that out. So in your little pea brain, you were fluiding her out, however y'all say it. I hate that word, flying her out. You were flying her out in your mind to get what she has under her skirt, but you didn't tell her that. So when you got to the hotel room, then you found out the hard way. As they say, you effed around and found out that she was not trying to give you that. And then you got salty after you spent all this money. You say you took her to dinner and stuff. Then somehow you ended up back in your car and you dropped her off at the airport and you made her fly home on her own dime. So I know the onus is on the woman too. Let me get to her. But as a man, you didn't ask this woman, as y'all FaceTiming in 2 months, and you didn't figure out could you even call her your woman? So whose fault is that? The other part is, ladies, and I've said this before, my daughter actually gave it a good term. It's glorified hitchhiking is what it is. And I said, it's worse than hitchhiking, because, you hitchhiking, hey, I need a ride, but you getting on a plane. At least with hitchhiking, the mom got to take you to a different location, but you getting on the plane, traveling to a location to be with some man that you've never met. And from her end, she don't even know if that's her man. Clearly in her mind, it ain't, because she like, I ain't going to, do nothing with you. And I want to say this too. That could have been her man, and she still didn't have to give him, sex or whatever, because maybe she was like, hey, let's get married or whatever. I'm just saying, I'm just trying to throw some hypotheticals out there. So she should have gotten clarification as well. Now I'm coming out there. What you want me to come out there and do? And the other thing is, he said she was walking around the room in a towel. That also lets me know that he rented a room for the both of them. Okay, instead of
I think he mentioned they were at his house. So I mean, you don't fly somebody to you, yeah.
No, it sounds like he said the hotel room, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, why would you fly somebody into where your location and then take them to a hotel room?
Maybe he lived with his mama, because he sounded like the kind of dude that lived with his mama. Okay, so if I'm not mistaken, I believe he said the room. If I'm not mistaken, I could play it back, just for clarity. But it says, so she's walking around in the room with a towel. She should not have been doing that, especially if in her mind she was not trying to give off the inclination that she wanted, she wanted to give off those vibes, right? She should have got dressed in the room or whatever. But the other thing is, if she was not trying to smash or give him the cheeks, she should have said, oh, we got one room. Where you go sleep? You know what I mean?
Correct.
So there's a lot of things that was not said. And that's why I firmly believe that there are people who are too immature to date, because you spent 2 months on the phone and y'all didn't ask none of the basics. Are you my man? Are you my woman? What are you expecting from me once I get there? You know, if I don't give it to you, like y'all didn't cover the basics. So some people should not be dating. And I believe those two people shouldn't date until they figure out how to really go through the courting process.
Absolutely. The great Kevin Samuel said that, you hear a lot of stories, especially if you watch Kendra G, the dating show, where in the last week or so, there's been a couple of girls that were on the show looking for a boyfriend or a husband. They want to date. They want to get back in the dating scene, and they have children. So Kendra G asked where are the baby daddies, whatever. She asked the basic questions. And recently, these girls, it was a one-night stand. They had babies on one-night stands. And that's one of the things Kevin Samuels kind of pointed out, where there's a lot of irresponsibility on the woman's part. And you have this baby and they're being recklessly having sex. And I think that's what's happening with a lot of these young people nowadays. They're just recklessly sleeping with each other, not really knowing who they are. But in regards to this young man, in regards, and I'm going to just play devil's advocate, even though I don't want to. Maybe, young man, if you really think about it, maybe she started her cycle and didn't want to say anything out of the ordinary, because sometimes that does happen. That does happen. Correct?
Let me interject. I don't think that was the case, because trust me, a lot of times women don't have no problem saying, oh, I got a visitor, even if she didn't, if she don't want to do that with you. I think she was probably brutally honest with him and saying, hey, I ain't come out here for that. I came out here to hang out or whatever. And the other thing too is, you got to kind of think about it. They've only been talking for 2 months. It's the first time her meeting her. So maybe she was like, I don't want to have sex with you the first time. Maybe I want to get to know you on this level, a physical, in person, before I decide to do that with you. But because he's a boy, maybe he couldn't hear that. He was totally, I told my daughter this the other day, y'all worst nightmare was me learning the word incel, involuntarily celibate, because that's probably what he was, involuntarily celibate. He spent money on the chick thinking he was going to get some cheeks, and he didn't. But the point you made is, damn, bro, you couldn't have bought none closer to home if that's what you were trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, you're in California, 7-1. I mean, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but you know what I'm talking about. You're in California. It's 7-1. It isn't hard to get a woman out here. It really isn't, unless you're really that lame. I could see if I was in Altus, Oklahoma, where there's no women, and you got to fly her in. You know what I mean? So, but here's the thing, though, the danger of it, ladies, because Demetria, let's look at the other side of it. There are girls that do use men's resources, promising them the world, and then once they get there, it's a totally different story. And I'm not saying even if that is a totally different story, it's their body. They don't have to do anything they don't want to do. But the behavior needs to stop on both ends. There got to be responsibility on both ends. Ladies, stop trying to use these men's resources and then don't want to pay up. And dudes, stop being lames and flying these women out.
Well, I mean, again, I got admonishment for both of them, but I mean, whose fault is it that woman dig off in your pocket and get your ATM card or your money or whatever, and did she make you spend that money?
Well, she promised me all this stuff. I got it on tape.
So you the fool. That she promised you. You got a promise from a woman you ain't never met. So you say she promised you. You didn't. You get together. Maybe she wasn't feeling his vibes. Maybe she was like, no. Oh, FaceTime was a different story, boo boo. But now that I get you with you in public, I'm just turned off by you. I mean, maybe that was a situation. And listen, I'm not excusing her, because I think she's a dumbass too. For one thing, flying out there without getting clarification as to why she was flying out there. And the other thing is, if he was taking you back, be prepared to buy your own ticket home. That, to me, that's common sense. But I mean, maybe she wasn't feeling them. That's like, people have. Have y'all heard the term "no means no"? Now, even if I went into the bedroom with you and we both got butt naked,
And started doing it even.
Maybe.
Once you say no, that's it.
Exactly. But if I said, you know what, I changed my mind.
Right.
Maybe I got turned off. It's my right to do that. But yet you going to deduce me down to some cheeks? And for those of y'all, you know, I know I got some distinguished people watching that don't know what cheeks means.
Yeah.
That means booty.
Yeah, exactly. But again, at that point, fellas, as we know, once she says no, or you knew you're not going to get the cheeks, tell her to pack her shit and drop her off at the airport. You're within your right to drop her off back at the airport. Because I don't know, you know, I don't know why a lot of these women think that, you know, okay, let's say she was going to stay there a week and he's expecting the cheeks that night that she flies in, right? Let's just say, okay, she doesn't want to do it. Okay, sweetheart, he's taking you back to the airport. How are you going to stay with the dude for expect to stay a whole week? And, you know, the dude's upset. He'll take you back to the airport or whatever. And you know what? She's kind of lucky he took her back to the airport, because I would have told her to Uber.
Y'all know when I lean back in my chair, I got some, you know, listen, what you just described was extortion.
No,
leverage.
Leverage.
Hold on a second. I need a witness. Deanna?
It's leverage.
Deanna, I need you for a second. I need some backup.
You know, think about it. I agree with you. I just agree with you.
But I want you to tell her the scenario you just told me. And she hasn't heard me say nothing. Right. I want to see what she says. Explain to Deanna what you just said about what you would do if you didn't get the cheeks.
Okay. Right? I flute the girl in, and let's say she's going to stay with me for a week. And that night, she doesn't want to give me the cheeks. I just say, okay, fine. I pack up her stuff and I take her back to the airport. Done.
What does that sound like to you?
I got something I want to say.
But what does that, before you say it, but what does that sound like to you?
It sounds very prostitutional, transactional to me, but
I said, okay, well, say what you got to say, and I'll tell you what I said.
I'll save it for when you guys are offline.
Okay,
you were friendly.
Oh, Deanna was
public knowledge. Don't say it that way.
I said that it was extortion.
It is. It's very transactional.
Yeah, because because the key definition of extortion is if you don't do this, then I'm going to do that, and it's usually via a threat. So we know that extortion is what? That is against the law. And so let's say this. So this is where you men really need to stop being silly. And I say that with love, I really do. This is where y'all need to stop being silly, because if you tell a woman, let's say that woman ain't got a dime to her goddamn name. She done flew out, which is her fault. She's stupid. I want to say that.
Okay.
She flew out to wherever she came from to see you. And she says, you know what, Donovan, I don't want to have sex with you. All right, homegirl, or whatever you want to call her. If you don't have sex with me, I'm dropping you off at the airport, and I'm not going to pay your way back home. Now, let's say this. She acquiesces, and she does it.
Oh,
but does it because.
But see, that would be terrible, though.
But that's what people. But that's the gist of what people.
That would be terrible.
Saying.
That would be the worst sex you would ever have.
That's what he did to her, except for she did not acquiesce his demands, because what he did was put a demand on her. And so I said, we got to think logic. And I know somebody gonna be in the comment section. Well, let me finish. Demetra tripping. No, I'm telling you, I'm trying to actually save y'all lives. Wait, let me finish.
Go ahead.
Because the manosphere ain't gonna teach y'all what I'm trying to tell y'all. You cannot coerce a woman and extort her into giving you sex. Because then what happens when she does that? She goes back home and she says, I didn't want to do it. However, he made me. I didn't have any money to get home. So I felt like the only way for me to get home was to let him have my cheeks as much as he wanted. And so I just wanted to get home. And I was in fear if I didn't give it to him, something else may happen.
See, now I'm gonna have to defend the manosphere, because what you're describing there is a predator. Only a predator would do that. You know what I mean? Most real men, hey, no big deal. Like I said, what did I say in the video? He should make sure she gets back home. He should. That's what a man's gonna do. If even it doesn't work out.
Said that I'm
talking about earlier. I'm talking about earlier in the video.
Okay.
When we're reviewing the video, I said he should, get her back to the airport and get her home and be done with it. Wash your hands of it. But ladies, you got to think about what men are thinking of. Before we fly you out, what is that called? before we fly you out to LA. What do you call that?
It's called you buying her a flight.
No, it's called I'm going to pay to play. That's how men think about it.
Listen,
that's how men think about it.
But let me tell you men something.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of y'all that are in the clink for rape. It may not have been strong arm, but it could have been implied or coercion or extortion. Okay, because she can build a case off of that.
Sure.
Now, there's this thing called a contract. What is involved in the contract?
An implied contract, right?
And when you're talking about sex, I almost said the N word. It better be expressed, because anything implied is ambiguous. Expressed is I want A, B, C, and D. There's an offer, there's an acceptance, and there's some sort of compensation for that. Okay, that's the three basic forms of a contract. Hey, baby, I'm offering to fly you out to California.
That's we were doing an OnlyFans session.
It's an offer. Okay. Now, in that offer, you have to lay out the terms of that offer.
Yes, absolutely.
If you did not lay out the terms, and you say, "Hey, I want to fly you to California," she accepted you on face value. However, if you said, "I'm flying you out to California, and we're going to have sex from sun up to sundown, and anyway, it's 5 ways a Sunday,"
right? Every hole.
Okay, then you have an expectation. Now we know that prostitution is illegal in California, so you cannot make a contract.
No, not true. As long as it's on camera, it's illegal.
Well, the point that I'm making is this. The point that I'm making is, if you said that I flew her out, there was nothing expressed there. It was implied only on your end, but you didn't tell her your implications.
Right. You know, but the sad thing is, again, this city girl life that is being explored, they don't tell you the flip side and the danger side of it. And that is the one thing that I have a problem with the video. Yes, the dude's a douchebag because again, you're in LA and you're flying somebody to LA. She's right. You are a lame. But young lady, you just put yourself in a position, just like the Players Club, what's her name's cousin, to be assaulted, killed, and never to be seen from again because you're trying to live a city girl life. And being there, having no money to I don't know how she got back home, but the point is, Demetra, you remember we were growing up, I always have a dime for the pay phone and have money to pay for the food. It doesn't matter what it is. If a guy asks you out on a date and I'm going to take you to the turkey leg hut, you should bring at least enough money for a ride home and to pay for your own meal, even though the dude is going to pay for it, just in case that Negro acts up. And that's my concern, that these ladies are listening to a lifestyle that really does not exist.
Well, Dana got something to say.
Has anyone
speak up?
Has anyone considered the fact that maybe she was gonna put out before she got there, and then got there and was like,
nah.
And that's what I said right before you came in. Maybe she just said, "Oh, after all, I ain't feeling you. You know, whatever."
Right.
Maybe he smelled bad or something.
Right.
I can withdraw my consent. So.
Exactly. And like I said, you know, again, he should, if that's the case, he wants to cut everything out and cut the ties out, get her to the airport, make sure she gets back home. That's, you know, a real man, that would be his obligation to do that.
But we ain't talking about real men. Now, I'm not saying, you know, I get it being frustrated. I don't want to concede that. I get it being frustrated. You thought you was finna be, you know, whatever, and that didn't come true, or for whatever reason. But I think it makes you a horrible person to leave a woman stranded in a town that is not her own because she would not give you sex. I think that is a horrible way to teach our young men how to deal with women. And I think it is a horrible way for us to teach our young women to even take yourself in that position. I know you bring up Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. Listen, Megan Thee Stallion and Cardi B both got men, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Men, and we know that they are selling a lifestyle that they don't even live.
Exactly.
For real. But like I said, if Cardi B or Megan Thee Stallion is more influential over my daughter than me, then the problem starts with me. It doesn't start with Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion. So I would say that young women, these mothers of these young women, grandmas or whoever, need to really start sitting their daughters down and say, "Hey, I love you and I want to see you again. that's why you should not jump on a plane and go meet a man that you've only FaceTime with or whatever the case is, because you don't know, right? We need to start teaching wisdom. If it's a this is relationship that's meant to be, then y'all need to figure out a way to meet safely or whatever.
Correct.
But please don't take your ass way out to Los Angeles, California with no money in your pocket.
Right. And we've seen in articles where women have gone to the NBA All-Star game with no money, then want to get on GoFundMe to get back home and all this other stuff because her unemployment check didn't come and all this other stuff. But before we go, Demetra, what would you suggest in a situation like that? Right. We're on FaceTime or we're talking and stuff like that. And, you want to meet. Shouldn't it be better that I come and visit you as the man first?
Yeah.
Versus you being a vulnerable female. And for all you feminists out there, yeah, we know you're equal and you can handle it. Sure. Right. You're equal. You can handle stuff like that. Wouldn't it be better to have the man come out first versus?
Yeah. I mean, if you're having a long distance relationship, I think the man should come out first, that way your family could F him up. I'm just playing.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, and that's not to say that women ain't up to no good either, like to, set him up or whatever. So I just think, man or woman, because we live in a time where people jack you and all that other stuff. I think you should just use wisdom. Maybe you need to meet in a neutral place, or maybe have somebody come with you, a good friend to come with each one of you, whatever. Just whatever you need to do to feel like you are safe. But ain't no way in hell I'd have flew nowhere to meet some man at his house that I've never met before per se. You know what I mean? I just wouldn't do it, especially in these times, because you could be trafficked and a whole host of things. And I want to say too, while that situation ended up horribly for both of them, if you want to look at it, I'm glad that she did not have sex with him, because no man worth his weight, and I don't care, y'all get mad, no man worth his weight is going to treat a woman that way, regardless of how you feel about it, and talk to her that way. And I hate to be lazy in my thinking and say you wouldn't want nobody to treat your daughter like that, but you wouldn't. I guarantee you, she went home and told her daddy what happened. If her daddy see that, they're gonna be like, "Where does nigga live?
Right,
Where does he live? Because we need to go pay him." First of all, why are you putting her all up on the internet? If I was her, if I was petty, I would put his picture up on the internet, because I'm sure she got pictures of him. I want to see what he looked like, and I guarantee you, he looked like a dusty, musty, lackluster buster.
Has to be, especially if he's flying her on Spirit. He wants to impress a girl. You don't impress her on Spirit. Okay?
Watch your mouth, okay? Listen, I have a problem with a man trying to save some money, and Spirit ain't never did nothing to me. Yeah, there be a little ratchetness going on, but I mind my business. I crack open my book, and I'm like, pilot, let's go.
So as they're fighting at the boarding gate, you just slip on by and get to your seat.
Ain't got nothing to do with me. Just don't make my flight late. Let's get this ratchetness over with.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. But the moral to the story, young people, please be careful. And especially our ladies, Black women are disappearing. Why? This could be part of the reason.
Yeah. And I won't get into that, because I know that'll start up a whole argument, this, that, and the other. Because they say, now don't quote me. I researched it, but I know somebody's going to say it's not true, that actually Black men are some of the number one perpetrators of kidnapping Black women.
Of course, absolutely.
And girls. So
yeah, because and it makes sense.
Giving them to somebody else, the traffickers, all of that. And I'm not trying to throw shade at the brothers, but
no, but it makes sense, because it's your own kind. You're comfortable around your own kind.
Commonality.
Yeah.
So anyway, y'all, we're gonna get out of here, but I hope it has been as spirited for you as it has been for us. But I just want to really just close and say, fellas, I know that women don't always treat you right.
Get your passport. Zoom to Thailand.
Okay. Yeah. Y'all take your asses over to Thailand. Y'all gonna be back. Y'all gonna be talking about, they wanted to just use me for a green card and all this kind of stuff. Shit. I'm gonna say this too. If you a sucker over here, you're gonna be a sucker over there too. The demographics don't make no difference. So de-suckerify yourself. That's what you need to be spending time on. And don't get your ass on a plane to go to Thailand. Sit your ass down in front of a book and some good men, your father, your granddaddy, a good neighbor, cousin, uncle, somebody that can impart some wisdom upon you and teach you how to be a man and be sucker free. Okay?
Good point. That's
all I'm gonna say. But
let's get your passports.
But men, teach young men, instead of y'all being all mad and talking about this, that, and the other, teach young men how to ask questions and how to get the expectations up front That way you don't waste your time and this, that, the other. Because listen, I talk about a time. Y'all can go look at my old videos. Donovan and I've always said there's a lot of women out there that have the ideology of a girl's gotta eat. Yeah, I'll go out to dinner, but I ain't gonna do nothing with them. Right. You know, and then y'all, that's why I said stop being a sucker. Stop spending $100, you know, or whatever, $200, $300 to take a woman out to dinner that ain't even your woman. Like you ain't got. If you want to impress her, take her ass to coffee and impress her with your conversation.
Correct.
Do that first. So again, there's a lot of women out there. There's a girl's got to eat. She gonna go to Ruth Chris Morton's and all that with you, and then when you drop her back off, she gonna say thank you. See you later or not.
Right.
So, we're out of here, you guys. Again, thank you for joining us. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't already. Please donate to the channel if you could. That's also a blessing. Thank you so much. And we will see y'all tomorrow on Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. Wilding Out Wednesdays with Crazy Walter.
Yes.
See y'all later. Peace.